Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today.
Hey guys, it's Professor Presbury back with another episode of Hey Professor. So a couple of the videos I do, any video I do in my car is going to be done in this, in the vertical position. That's because I cannot figure out for the life of me. I'm going to have to ask an editor because I'm like, yeah, this is just not one of my skill sets right now. I do many things. Video editing and uploading appropriately is not one of them. Again, this is new to me. So like I haven't been doing YouTube for like forever. It's just like I'm trying to figure it out because you've probably seen the videos go down and come back up and go down and come back up. I'm working on it. I promise. I'm probably just going to hire somebody. You know what they say? If you can't do it, pay for somebody else to do it. There's plenty of editors out there. I'll figure it out. So if you guys have any suggestions, because some of you have pages, I've seen some of your pages. I'm like, oh wow, this is nice. I want to ask my students. If you know anything, let me know. Again, Professor Javon M.H. Presbury, another episode of Hey Professor. We're going to talk about, in these two episodes I'm going to do right now, back to back, we're going to talk about money, everybody's favorite topic. Money, right? So I wanted to do an episode on positions and what they pay, what I've seen them pay, what I've been paid, etc. Again, this won't cover everything, so I'll have to do a follow-up video probably as well, but just to kind of go over it, I'm going to be touching, release of information clerks, regular clerks, coders, auditors, managers, director, and then obviously there are things above that. I want to tell you guys with a grain of salt, please understand that everything I'm going to tell you is based on, like I said, it's an amalgamation of my knowledge, firsthand, secondhand, things I've seen, positions that I've had people filled and hired for, etc. Right? What that means is that a lot of these things I'm going to tell you can change. They are dependent upon the year in which I experienced them. They're dependent upon the overall financial health of your organization. They are dependent upon if your facility is union or not, if this position is union or not, et cetera, right? So let's just bear with me for that. So let's start from the bottom, right? Let's say release of information clerk. When I was a release of information clerk, 2011, let's say, I was making $13 an hour. Again, that was back then. I do know some release of information clerks now, so I can give you, a more updated information. And this is East Coast information based in the New York metropolitan area. So you can make, I want to say, somewhere in the range of $22.50. $22.50 an hour. They can work both physically on site and remote if that's something that you're interested in. So there you go. Medical records clerk. Now let's talk about that, right? When I was a medical records clerk, I was making somewhere in the range of $16 an hour. Again, to preface it, this was 2013, 2014 time frame. So that's back then. Medical records clerks that I know who are union, and this is important to specify that these people are union. They're making somewhere in the range of $25 an hour, and that's just starting. Every year when you're in a union, you are guaranteed a raise, somewhere in the range of like 3 to 5%, which is not bad. I have nothing bad to say about unions. Nothing bad to say about unions. I've been in them. Overall, I get the concept, and I think that conceptually, it's great. That's what I'll say. Conceptually, it's great, as are most things, right? Again, so let's move on. Medical records coder. When I first started coding, give me the year, 2014, I was making $19 an hour, went up to $21 an hour. Then I went to $31, then $32 an hour. So we're talking 30. So I started somewhere in the range of like $40,000, right? Because $20 an hour, $40,000 a year. And this is, and I want to also say to you guys, right? Be careful of the information that you find online, Google, Glassdoor, other things like that. I'm not saying that it's not accurate. I'm just saying that it doesn't match up with the things I've seen. But again, maybe they're taking a wider range. Maybe they're taking areas I'm not familiar with. So that's a possibility as well, right? So you got, you know, $40 an hour for medical coder starting, right? I have seen some as high, and this is recently, I've seen some jobs as high as, we're talking like $45 an hour. Now, from my experience, to get a medical coding job with $45 an hour, you have to have years of experience and obviously your CCS and maybe your RHIT. So they do have those requirements for you, but you can make some good money. I mean, never say that you can't make good money. You can make good money medical coding. That's why I'm gonna talk to a lot of my staff, a lot of my students about it. If they're in that direction, then that's a good thing to do. So we're talking like 90,000, right? And that's just with one job. Now, I know medical coders who make 6 figures, and it's largely because they do multiple jobs. And I'm gonna tell you the truth right now. And at the time of recording, I'm gonna say this: there are more jobs than there are coders. Like they've been throwing jobs at me. I don't want to do it. I've done it before. I have nothing bad to say about it. I'm just saying that I've moved on from that phase in my life. It's not what I want to do. I love teaching. I love leadership. That's what I like to do. In any case, so like I said, $90,000. It's not bad money, man. It's not bad money. Fully remote for the majority of them. Non-union, I've never seen a union coding job, so take that with what you will, but you're talking about 90,000, and then you can work a little part-time, a little per diem, and that will definitely kick you into the 6-figure range, right? Okay, so moving on from that, auditors a little bit more. So again, as an auditor, you're in a position where you're basically an authority. You are a resource. You are a base of knowledge for coders, and you're kind of telling them what they're doing wrong, right? Auditors, you can add a couple more dollars. I want to say 96 to 98,000, maybe 100 if if you've been with an organization for a while. All right, management. Again, I want to preface this by saying it depends on the organization. It changes, right? You can be a manager and you can make 50,000. You can be a manager and you can make 150,000. I've seen that, and that largely depends on where you are, the size of the facility, how many beds, what type of organization it is, the health of your organization, et cetera, right? So I've seen, let's say, HIM managers. I've seen HIM managers make $65,000, right? And then I've seen HIM managers quite literally make 150. So you're going to say, Professor, that's a hell of a range. That is a hell of a range. But that depends on where you are, right? So you can go somewhere with enough experience, with enough knowledge, with enough education, and be a manager and make 150,000, right? That depends on the organization. Now let's talk about assistant directors, associate directors, assistant director. I don't want people to get hung up on the word assistant, on the word associate. I did when I was younger, when I was coming up. I didn't know that a lot of times an organization may not have a director. They just may have an assistant director. And for all intents and purposes, you are the director. So don't get hung up on that concept. You may not really be, essentially an assistant to anybody. You just are the practicing director, the person in charge. I've seen those go for anywhere from 70,000 to 200,000. And I'm being serious. So you can really put yourself in a position, if you make the right moves, to get out here and get a job that's making $250,000 and up. It depends on your organization. So that's really kind of like, here's a tip I want to give, right? Now, you know what? I'll save that for a next video. Haha, more clicks, more views. No, I'm kidding. No, so, you really want to get out there, and do your best. See what's out there, and not limit yourself. Sometimes you're going to want to, just stay at a place because it pays you good money. And I'm all with that, man. I'm with convenience. I get it. But a lot of times you're going to have to go somewhere else to get the money that you want. Okay, guys, this has been Professor Presbury. I didn't want to make it too long, so I hope that it was a reasonable video for you guys. I hope that's an enjoyable video. I hope it answered some of the questions that you usually have. Again, any questions, comments, topics you want me to touch on, please let me know. You can always just email me or message me if you have my number. Again, this is Javon M.H. Presbury, another episode of Hey Professor, and I enjoy you guys, and thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Intelligence is not enough. Intelligence plus character. That is the true goal of education.